Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head and thought, I wish I'd said that differently? I completely get it. We have all been there. And today we're going to go through some really helpful tips, tricks, and practical steps that you can take to make those difficult or challenging conversations that much easier. I'm going to give you ideas that will help build your confidence, your empathy, and also help keep you calm. Whether it's a customer call, a colleague, your boss, your partner, your mother-in-law, whoever it might be, all of these are techniques that you can use with any difficult conversation that you're having. And also, hey, I'm Kat Jovi. I'm a workshop facilitator, a speaker, and a learning designer. Over the next few lessons, I'm going to break it down into separate videos so you can just go to the one that suits you best for maybe something you're struggling with right now. But it's going to go from managing your mindset all the way to trying to find the right words. And keep in mind, it's not about learning how to be scripted. You're not going to be memorizing scripts or anything like that. It's about learning those tools to make those conversations more productive, to make them less stressful, and to make sure that you dread them less. I found as I've worked on this ability to deal with difficult conversations, I have a lot less difficult conversations and just more conversations where I'm learning to understand this person in front of me. Let's move into what you're going to learn here. By the end of this mini course, you're going to be introduced to these main ideas. One, how to shift your mindset. So changing from a very stressed and anxious or maybe getting triggered and being able to be a confident communicator instead of avoiding those conversations. Number two, we're going to talk about our common triggers and how to de-escalate or defuse. And then number three is going to be active listening and empathy. We want to make sure that this person is feeling heard and understood as much as possible. Number four is going to be how to push back. You still want to be respectful, but there are certain conversations where you can't just be a people pleaser as much as I may love to. So you want to be able to push back without being rude, be assertive without being aggressive. Number five, I'm going to teach you the rethink framework. And this is a great framework. If you remember nothing else, this is a great framework to go through anytime you're going to be having a conversation to prep for it. And number six, much like this is an intro, that's going to be our conclusion. It's going to be where we're going to talk about how we put that into practice, we're going to summarize the main learnings from it, and talk about how we can apply it in everyday life. I always like to think about this whenever I take a course myself, whether it be on LinkedIn Learning or Udemy or even at school. How can I get the most out of this course? What can I do? Here are the main things that I suggest. One, grab a notebook. So write down your reflections as we go. I'm also going to be asking questions throughout, and I highly suggest that you pause the video in those moments and that you journal about it, that you write it down so that you can get the ideas out of your head and onto that paper. Come up with real examples that you deal with. Write down sentences that you would actually say, because the way that I communicate might not be the words that you'd like to use. So this way you're actually going to be thinking about how you would do it in your own words too. There's also a downloadable PDF or job aid, and this is something that you can reference whenever you want. So it's going to have a lot of the things that we cover today, but in a quick reference, so that if you just wanted to think, oh, what was that acronym and what does the T mean in that again? It's going to have all those details all in one easy PDF that you can reference anytime you think that you might be having a challenging conversation, or maybe even next week when you want to brush up on what you've learned today in this course. And then finally, pause and think. Whenever I do say pause, I highly suggest that you actually do it. I can tell you to grab your notebook. I can tell you to write stuff down. I can tell you to download the PDF, but you are the captain of your own ship, and you are going to learn the most if you're actually applying this learning. So I highly suggest you actually do follow the instructions on the screen and pause it and write down those ideas. So I'm going to suggest right now, pause it and write down a difficult conversation that you either had recently or one that's coming up that maybe you want to use this to prep for. All right, so hopefully you've written that down. If you want to take it one step further, you're welcome to comment it down below. Not using names or titles, but you could say there's a person in my life I have to talk to about X. Feel free, if you like, to comment down below. Over this course, I hope that you'll become the same mindset as myself of thinking that difficult conversations don't have to be this horrible battle. Instead, you can see them as just a way to get to understand another person more. So grab that pen and paper if you haven't already, get comfortable, and let's get started. We're going to be first starting with the mindset shift. And I also wanted to point out that there is going to be a bonus at the very end, and this is my AI course. So it's how to use generative AI to prep for a difficult conversation. So that's going to be an additional module that you'll have at the end. But follow me over to module 1.